Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So this is going to be the last video I create in response to the performance of Salat, performance of prayer, the second principle of Islam, pillar of faith, I should say. Basically, I'm not exactly sure how I wanted to do this. So what I'll do is I'll just talk a little bit about Salat al-Jumu'ah, and then I'll work my way around. I have 3 pages of notes here, and it's like, where do I go? So let's talk about Salat al-Jumu'ah for the first step. Salat al-Jumu'ah, basically the third part of Salat al-Jumu'ah is the only fard that cannot be done by yourself. You cannot perform this prayer by yourself. If you cannot make it to the congregational prayer, then in the normal, you just follow the normal daily routine and perform the Salatul Dhuhr instead of the Friday congregational prayer. However, if you can make it to the congregational prayer, it's very important that you do. That's one of the most important aspects. This is where basically what would happen for those who have never been to a Jummah or a Friday prayer is that basically what happens is that the Imam, the leader, the priest, if you will, he gives a khutbah or a message to the people, and it can be of anything he decides, and basically it should always be in light of the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ and the Quran. So it's a way to cause the people to learn about Islam and a little bit more better your knowledge. I mean, I always learn something new every time I go. Um, or I may even hear the same thing that I've heard before, but it may make better sense the next time because now you've learned other things in the middle. So that's something that is important to go to. But again, if you can't go to the Jummah prayer, the Friday congregational prayer, then you would just read your regular Dhuhr prayer. For the Eid prayer, the Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr, basically their format is slightly different. Usually the mosque usually not all the time, it depends on the mosque. They usually don't do the prayer in the mosque. They usually go somewhere else, to a park or something like that, because everybody is there. And for the Eid prayer, even everyone should be there. Whether the woman has menstruation or not, she should every woman should be there, every man should be there to those prayer because this is where the largest turnout in the entire community is there, and you share and learn from each other and everything else like that. Um, I'm not sure if the women are allowed to pray. I'll have to research that a little bit more. If someone knows, can you just let me know so it'll save me the time of researching it. But if not, I'll look it up and see if the woman can pray even when she's having her menses. But she should be there no matter what. That's for sure. Um, Basically, for the Eid prayer, they're offered in 2 rakaats. Basically, what would happen is that in the beginning of the prayer, there's no iqama or anything like that, the adhan or anything. The imam just goes and he says, let's pray, and everybody lands shoulder to shoulder, ankle to ankle, and face towards the Kaaba, and then he says Allahu Akbar, and basically the congregation just follows his lead. The imam would place his hand under the navel, and then after a short interval, he would make 3 more takbirats, which is basically Allahu Akbar. And again, for each time he says Allahu Akbar, you'd raise your hands and put it. You let it remain to the side at the end of each takbir, and then on the third takbir, when he says Allahu Akbar, then you'd place your hands over the navel. Then basically, you just recite like the regular, um, regular prayer, Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika, that whole bit. And then the Imam recites Surah Fatiha and then some other chapter of the Quran, just like in a regular prayer. You just follow that thing. Then in the second rakat, the order is reversed. The Quranic passages are read, and then the Imam would give three more takbirs. Allahu Akbar, you put it in your hand, over your navel, Allahu Akbar, put it over your navel, Allahu Akbar, put it over your navel. Well, to your side, I should say, sorry. And then on the fourth Allahu Akbar, then you go into ruku. And once the prayer is over, the Imam would usually get on a pulpit or something of that sort and deliver two khutbas. One, usually would explain I mean, it really, I've been to different places where they do different things, but usually it would be about, how you distribute your, salat, sadqatul fitr, and, he'll explain the commandments on that thing, zakat and all these other things. And then for Eid al-Adha, he would talk about, the sacrifice of the animal. And again, some imams would talk about different things. It depends on the person that is there. For Salat al-Janaza, this one is different than the regular prayer, because you're not going into ruku or any of these other things. Basically, what would happen for Salat al-Janaza is that you would recite your intention. And again, in every prayer, I probably didn't mention, but in every prayer you have the intention that you're going to do this for that prayer, or whatever it is. So you recite your intention. I have a translation of an intention here written in Arabic, and I can't read Arabic, so the translation goes, I intend to offer for Allah the Sublime 4 takbirs of funeral prayer. Allah, praise for Allah the Sublime, the blessings of Allah and the Apostle in the prayer for this deceased person. I adopt the lead of the Imam with my face turned the direction of the honored Kaaba. So basically, face the Kaaba. There's going to be an Imam in front of you. He's going to, lead the prayer and everything. So you make an intention. If you can't remember what I just said there, basically the intention that I would say is that, all I intend to perform Salat al-Janaza for the deceased. Please forgive them for whatever wrong they may have done, and I invoke the blessings upon the beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and with that be my intention with the lead of the Imam. Allahu Akbar. So when the Imam says, basically Allahu Akbar, then you'd recite Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika wa tabaraka ismuka wa ta'ala jadduka wa la ilaha ghayruka. And the translation I gave you before, it's in the prayer that I gave. It's under my notes somewhere. I don't have to go search for it. But basically, you recite that, and then the Imam would say Allahu Akbar, and without raising your hands or anything, then you would recite the salawat, which is Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim innaka Hamidum Majid. And then the Imam would say Allahu Akbar, and then you'd recite the dua, and this dua goes Allahumma ghfirli, and you have to bear with me here. I'm not I haven't had this one memorized either. There's a lot that I have to learn. Like I said, I'm not as scholarly as some of the other brothers out here, but just bear with me. So اللهم اغفر لي حينا وميتنا وشهيدنا وغائبنا وصغيرنا وكبيرنا وذكرنا وأنثانا اللهم من أحييته منا فأحيه على إسلام ومن توفيته منا فتوفه alal iman. And again, I'm sorry for butchering this. I don't have it memorized, and I tried my best here to read it to you. Basically, what it translates to is, "O Allah, pardon our living and our dead, the present and the absent, the young and the old, the male and the female. O Allah, he or she, to whom Thou accordest life, cause him to live in the observation of Islam." And he to whom Thou givest death, cause him to die in the state of Iman, state of faith. If it is a minor boy, the following dua, and minor is considered has not achieved the age of puberty. Okay, once the person has reached the age of puberty, they're no longer a minor in Islam. So just let you know. Allahumma ja'alhu lana artan waj'alhu lana jaran wa zukran waj'alhu ala shayfa'an wa mushaf'an. Again, I'm sorry, I don't have it memorized. Otherwise, it would have probably been a lot more smooth than that. Basically, it means that Allah make him our forerunner and make him for us a reward and a treasure, and make him for us a pleader and accept his pleading. Because again, once the child has not reached the age of puberty and he dies, it's more or less guaranteed that they would enter Jannah. This is, a blessing in disguise, so to speak. A blessing for them, maybe not for the parents, and the parents might miss them a lot, but for them it's definitely a blessing. And in Islam, we should not really grieve over the dead. That's also something that, you find a lot of people do. This is why we, for going to the cemetery, usually they don't take women there because, women tend to get more emotional than men. Like I've gone to some, funerals where Christian people are there. It was a Christian funeral, and the woman would jump into the grave and all these other things, and it's kind of like, because they miss their loved one so much. So this is why women aren't really allowed to go to the grave for the burial. Okay, if it was a deceased girl, minor girl, it would be Allahumma. Again, I apologize for butchering this. I'm, learning here. Allahumma ja'alha lana fartan waj'alha lana ajran wa zukhran waj'alha lana shafi'an wa mushafatan. And that basically means that Allah make her our forerunner, and make her for us a reward and a treasure, and make her for us a pleader and accept her pleading. After that, basically, the Imam would say Allahu Akbar, and then basically you would say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and that would be the end of the Salaat al-Janaza. And it's very important that as Muslims, whenever a Janaza prayer is being offered, that we make it our duty to be there. Even if you don't know the person. In Islam, we're all brothers and sisters, and if someone passes away, it's important that we all make the extra effort to be there, especially if they are part of the Muslim community. For non-Muslims, well, you can flip a coin and decide, but for Muslims, it's very important that you go. There is no doubt there shouldn't be any doubts in your mind whether you should go or not. Okay, so that basically covers all of the prayers. The nafil prayers, I should talk about those. There are a lot of various nafil prayers, and I, of course, don't know all of them. But I do know a few of them. There is Salaat al-Ishraq, which basically, after the sun has rise, when the sun is rise, this nafil prayer is consists of 2 to 4 rakats. So you can perform this, and this again is all all optional. It's not that you have to do it, right? Then there's Salatul Doha, which basically you would perform after Ishraq, but before the sun crosses, gets to the point where it's at zenith. So before it gets to that point, so Ishraq till that point. Then there's Salatul Masjid that you perform 2 rakats when you enter the mosque. And again, if you get to the mosque during the time it's forbidden for nafil prayer, you don't pray this, but any other time you do. Salatul Tahajjud. This is actually one of the nafil prayer that's actually listed in the Quran. It has a lot of benefit to it. It's one that you can that is there for especially for gaining spiritual progress, and so that if you want to reach spiritual heights, this is definitely the prayer that you'd want to do. Um, there's Salatul Taraweeh, which is basically in the month of Ramadan after the Isha prayer, but before witr. There's like it depends on again the school of thought. Some school of thought say it's 8 rakats, some say it's 20. Um, you know, I go with the 20 only because I think the more that I remember my Lord, the more reward there is for me. So um, everyone has their own opinion about that, but again, it depends on the school of thought that you're following. And that one is basically usually for Salatul Taraweeh, the entire Quran is recited from the first of Ramadan till the whatever day before the sighting of the moon. The Quran is usually completed in Taraweeh. Okay, so that's basically that. Then there's Salatul Istikhara. Basically, that one, whenever you're in doubt about making a decision, this is the prayer that you would perform. Salat al-Istikhara. Basically, you read, you make intention to Allah. Oh Allah, I intend to perform, 2 rakat Salat al-Istikhara with the intention that you help me making the decision, whatever decision it is. Um, I'll give you a little bit of my story here. Like my wife and I, we never really met each other until 2 days before our wedding. Okay, but we talked. I mean, we talked on the phone. She lives in Pakistan and I lived here. And basically, what happened is her sister introduced us. We started talking. I decided I liked her. She decided she liked me. And before we made the decision to get married, we both performed, this nafil prayer, salat al-istikhara, to ask Allah to guide us to whether this is the right decision for each other or not. And usually after this prayer, when you go to sleep, it's usually done like right before you go to bed. You do this prayer, and then in your sleep, you'll get a dream, whether it's good or bad. And I'm not going to tell you my dream, but the point is this thing that that's the benefit of Salat al-Istikhara. So if any decision that you want to make, whether it's for a job or for a relationship or something where your mind is wavering on whether the decision is right or not, or even though you may have a decision that you know this is exactly what you want to do, but you just want the blessings of God to say that okay, this is the right thing to do, then Salat al-Istikhara is basically what you would want to do. That's my suggestion to you. You can take it or leave it. It's up to you. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a scholar or anything, but that's my understanding of what it's there for. And again, I've to me, this is what I do whenever I'm in doubt about something or whether I have a question or anything. Not that I have a doubt about my wife, because I know she'll see this video, right? No, actually, I'm just kidding. I truly love my wife and everything, but the point is this thing that if you're in doubt, that's a great prayer to recite. Also, Salat al-Chast is also another one. That one is basically recited again around the time of istiqara. I mean, there are many other nafil prayer that are there. I have a book somewhere. It's like 33 different nafil prayers, but I don't have it with me, so I don't want to give you names of prayers that aren't existent. So, with that, I end this video, and inshallah, we'll get into the third principle of Islam soon. Right now, it's getting close to midnight my time, so I'm thinking I might end this videotaping for now. But hopefully, this gives some insight onto how to perform the prayer and everything else like that. Inshallah, that you guys will all learn from it. Inshallah, I will learn the du'as that I haven't yet memorized, and I apologize to my viewers for not knowing that. I feel ashamed of myself that I don't have that memorized for you, but Allah knows better, and inshallah, I will learn those soon. So with that, I end this video, and thanks for viewing, um, I look forward to meeting you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yourself. You cannot perform this prayer by yourself. If you cannot make it to the congregational prayer, then in the normal, you just follow the normal daily routine and perform the Salatul Dhuhr instead of the Friday congregational prayer. However, if you can make it to the congregational prayer, it's very important that you do. That's one of the most important aspects. This is where basically what would happen for those who have never been to a Jummah or a Friday prayer, is that basically what happens is that the Imam, the leader, the priest, if you will, he gives a khutbah or a message should be there to those prayer, because this is where the largest turnout in the entire community is there, and you share and learn from each other and everything else like that. I'm not sure if the women are allowed to pray. I'll have to research that a little bit more. If someone knows, can you just let me know, so it'll save me the time of researching it. But if not, I'll look it up and see if the woman can pray even when she's having her menses. But she should be there no matter what. That's for sure. Basically, for the Eid prayer, they're offered in 2 rakaats. Basically, what would happen is that in the beginning of the prayer, there's no iqama or anything like that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So this is going to be the last video I create in response to the performance of Salaat, performance of prayer, the second principle of Islam, pillar of faith, I should say. Basically, I'm not exactly sure how I wanted to do this, so what I'll do is I'll just talk a little bit about Salatul Jummah, and then I'll work my way around. I have 3 pages of notes here, and it's like, where do I go? So let's talk about Salatul Jummah for the first stuff. Salatul Jummah, basically the third part of Salatul Jummah is the only fard that cannot be done by message to the people, and it can be of anything he decides. And basically, it should always be in light of the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ and the Quran. So it's a way to cause the people to learn about Islam and a little bit more better your knowledge. I mean, I always learn something new every time I go. Or I may even hear the same thing that I've heard before, but it may make better sense the next time because now you've learned other things in the middle. So that's something that is important to go to. But again, if you can't go to the Jummah prayer, the Friday congregational prayer, then you would just read your regular Dhuhr prayer. For the Eid prayer, the Eidul Adha and Eidul Fitr, basically their format is slightly different. Usually the mosque usually not all the time, it depends on the mosque, they usually don't do the prayer in the mosque. They usually go somewhere else, to a park or something like that, because everybody is there. And for the Eid prayer, even everyone should be there. Whether the woman has menstruation or not, she should all, every woman should be there, every man